VIVO S1 Pro smartphone was launched in 3rd May 2019. The phone comes with a 6.39-inch touchscreen display with an aspect ratio of 19.5:9. It is powered by a Qualcomm Snapdragon 675 and comes with 8GB of RAM. As far as the cameras are concerned, the VIVO S1 Pro on the rear packs a 48-megapixel primary camera with an 1.7 aperture. It sports a 32-megapixel camera on the front for selfies with an 2.0 aperture. It was launched in love blue and coral red colors. The Oppo R17 Pro sports a 6.4-inch display with a water drop notch and has an in-display fingerprint scanner. This phone has a Qualcomm Snapdragon 710 chipset along with 8GB of RAM and 128GB of storage. This phone has a dual camera setup consisting of a 12-megapixel primary and a 20-megapixel secondary sensor. It also has a 3D sensor which helps it for 3D scanning. It has a 25-megapixel selfie camera. Oppo R17 Pro runs ColorOS 5.2 based on Android 8.1 Oreo. It has two 1850 mAh batteries, totaling the capacity to 3700 mAh, which supports fast charging. The Honor 20 Lite is the low-cost version of Honor 20. The Honor 20 Lite is designed to offer the basic look, feel and feature that can be found on modern flagship phones in a budget-friendly package. Its 6.21-inch LCD screen is big, plenty bright enough and well-balanced. A full HD+ resolution offers ample pixels for all. You have a 24-megapixel 1.8 aperture main sensor and an 8-megapixel wide-angle lens and another one with 2-megapixel sensor. One of the three sensors, the 2-megapixel one, is purely for depth detection. Selfie camera, which really shows the company targeting at young audiences for this phone. It's technically got the same AI smarts and HDR capabilities as the rear array. The Honor 20 Lite has EMUI software sitting on top of Android 9. EMUI 9.0 is cleaner and more fluid than it used to be. It also has its unique advantages with an ability to tweak the phone's settings and general appearance with themes in a way that stock Android cannot do. It runs on the Kirin 710 chipset from Huawei subsidiary HiSilicon. The Honor 20 Lite packs 4GB of RAM, which is a considerable bump up from 3GB of Honor 10 Lite. The Honor 20 Lite is another well-balanced, desirable budget phone with a standout camera. The Redmi K20 Pro comes with a 6.39-inch Full HD Plus AMOLED screen of 2340 by 1080p resolution. It has an aspect ratio of 19.5:9 and 91% screen-to-body ratio. The display also houses an in-screen fingerprint sensor. Powered by Qualcomm Snapdragon 855 processor with Adreno 640 GPU, the Redmi K20 Pro also comes with Game Turbo 2.0, which is also said to optimize the handset for better gaming experience. On the imaging front, the Redmi K20 Pro has a triple rear camera setup that includes a 48-megapixel Sony IMX586 camera with a 1.75 aperture, an 8-megapixel telephoto sensor with 2.4 aperture and a 13-megapixel wide-angle sensor with 2.5 aperture. For selfie lovers, there is a 20-megapixel sensor housed in a pop-up setup with a wide-angle mode. The front camera is claimed to pop out in 0.8 seconds. Overall, it's not a bad phone at all. Huawei Nova 5 smartphone was launched on 21st June 2019. The phone comes with a 6.39-inch touchscreen display with a resolution of 1080 by 2340 pixels at a pixel density of 403 pixels per inch and an aspect ratio of 19.5:9. Huawei Nova 5 is powered by a 1.88 GHz octa-core HiSilicon Kirin 810 processor that features 2 cores clocked at 2.27 GHz and 6 cores clocked at 1.88 GHz. It comes with 8GB of RAM. The Huawei Nova 5 runs Android 9 Pie and is powered by 3500 mAh battery. The Huawei Nova 5 supports proprietary fast charging. As far as the cameras are concerned, the Huawei Nova 5 on the rear packs a 48-megapixel primary camera with an 1.8 aperture, a second 16-megapixel camera with an 2.2 aperture, and a third 2-megapixel camera with an 2.4 aperture, and there is a fourth 2-megapixel camera with an 2.4 aperture. The rear camera setup has laser autofocus. It sports a 32-megapixel camera on the front for selfies with an 2.0 aperture. The Huawei Nova 5 runs EMUI based on Android 9 Pie and packs 128 GB of inbuilt storage that can be expanded via microSD card up to 256 GB. The Huawei Nova 5 is a dual SIM smartphone that accepts nano SIM and micro SIM cards. In today's competitive phone market, the Nova needs to be cheaper, but it's a fine device with no big drawbacks.